Welcome to Rev Up Your Business with Hilda Gann. We are now in season 5, and we've changed the name and the focus of the podcast. Rev Up Your Business is the podcast for small to medium-sized business owners, entrepreneurs, and HR professionals. Each week, we share tips, strategies, and trends on how you can build success in your business. I share my expertise as a people-centric leader in work culture and human resources. My guests share their expertise in human resources, marketing, sales, finance, IT, leadership, and the multiple facets that you need to take care of your business. If you love to learn and want to find out how you can rev up your business, join us. Today, my guest is Laural Carr. Laural Carr is an award-winning marketer, a Kolbe Certified Consultant, a marketing mindset coach, a professional speaker, the creator of Biz Backdrop, and the founder of Impagination. What fuels Laural is a passion for helping leaders and owners of professional services firms to identify their uniqueness and find their most efficient way to be noticed by and engaged with their future new best clients. Welcome, Laural, and thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, Hilda. This is so exciting. I love talking about this. So, yes, let's get into it.
Yes. Maybe you want to share a little bit more about yourself and your business before we get into some of the questions that my listeners and viewers may want to learn about the kind of work that you do.
Absolutely. So, as Hilda mentioned, I'm the CEO and founder of my strategic marketing firm, Impagination. This is our logo, and this is a biz backdrop. So Hilda mentioned that earlier. This is one of the ways we help our clients show up on brand in front of their audience, and especially in virtual meetings. So what we love to do is create the shortest path from who our clients are, how they are uniquely wired to take action in their professional life, to their ideal client. So we like to call them best clients, but in the simplest terms, I help people find more clients. But why spend time, money, energy on finding any old clients when, if you're going to invest in finding more clients, or finding clients, you can invest your time, money, and energy to find more clients like your best clients. And we do that because if you've already got a best client, you already know how to serve a best client. So that also helps people to understand the way they want to, let's say, finesse, polish, refine their practice, their services, maybe their team, in order to serve more. So that is the magic behind Impagination and how we connect and find the easiest, shortest way for our clients to connect and engage with more clients like their best clients.
Thanks for sharing that. And I want to note 2 key things that really help us as entrepreneurs and business owners in our journey. Number 1, uniqueness. We need to share, how do we differentiate ourselves from others, and what do we bring to the table that is unique? So I love how you help clients uncover, validate, and put forward their uniqueness. And then the second thing, which I think is always something that we begin our journey and sometimes forget in our journey, is our best clients. Because sometimes people just in starting out just take anything to get the money flowing in. But they need to keep in mind, and as the money flows in, is to find the best clients, because it makes for a much more enjoyable journey when you're working with a client you love rather than the client you wished you hadn't accepted. So thank you. And I reinforce this to our listeners and our viewers out there. Find your best clients, be strict about that, because one day it's going to come back to bite you. This is the new best client, and you're still got this one that's taking up so much time, that's dragging you down.
100%. And that is one of the things that our clients tell us keeps them up at night. So first of all, we've all done it. I've done it. We've all accepted clients that maybe didn't fit the ideal criteria for whatever reason. And exactly what Hilda says, there's a time when that will come to bite you. The kinds of things that our clients tell us about the clients who are not their ideal client is that they take up so much of their time. They don't necessarily take their advice. They doubt and question the advice that's being given. And because I work with professional services, everyone's in the advice business. So if people are coming to you looking for your advice, there's nothing less satisfying than having someone not take your advice and come back for more advice that they're not going to take. So it's really important to start qualifying, and that's part of a marketing. Your marketing strategy is to qualify who is your ideal client and what are the ways that you can identify before you get into these situations that they are a great fit for your services.
Marketing, when you hear marketing, it's such a broad, field. So help us narrow down some of the things that you do so people say, oh, I see. Give us some tips and strategies and narrow the field what Laural and Impagination do.
Oh my gosh, Hilda, you are so right. Marketing is so huge and all-encompassing and can be complex and can be confusing. And there have been days in my business where I thought, I wish I just sold coffee because everybody knows what that is. So great
That's also broad.
and I think now coffee's become a little bit more complex also.
Sure. Everything. Too many choices in life and too many.
Yes, sign of the time. So to simplify very, very simple terms, and people are going to probably find this like, how can you simplify it to such succinctly? But this is my philosophy. Marketing is getting more of what you want and getting less of what you don't want. And I think this is true for all things in life. And I am a simplifier. That is one of my strengths. So if there's something in your business you want more of, and there are things that you want less of, your marketing strategy will encompass both of those. So the way that we approach it, we have a very structured approach. There are 6 steps. Each step builds on the next. And at the end, you have a really solid platform for your marketing that will stand the test of time. We have clients who've been working with us for 15 years who continue to refine and finesse their original bedrock strategy. But as let's say over 15 years, social media has become much more of a prevalent element. They have stretched and extended into that. When they started, they didn't even have a website. So there, over time, we have to look at where your clients are. And all of our conversations start with, and this is where the marketing is more of what you want and less of what you don't want. We start with, what is the goal? Where are you trying to go? Is it a 5-year goal? Is it a 12-month goal? Is it I want to exit my business at a certain stage? Do I want to bring in a new partner? There are all kinds of goals that we work with our clients to help them achieve. Do you want to sell your business and therefore you want to polish your business and brand before you sell it because it's going to be worth more? So there are a lot of different reasons that people come to us. So we start with, what's the goal? I believe that purpose-driven action is always the most important actions that we take. And then we look at, well, what are your intrinsic strengths? What are that we can leverage from either the business leader, the team that you have around you, And we'll talk more about that because that's where my, as a Kolbe certified consultant, that comes in, and we will be definitely talking more about that. We look at then who is your ideal client? Do you have any now? And almost everyone does. They may have one, they may have 100, but they usually have one that they can focus on, because then we are going to structure the messaging and identify how you're different from your competition, um, and also, and then set the actual recommended strategy in place. And the strategy is, how are you going to get in front of those people? What is the message you're going to use to get in front of those people? What are the tools you're going to need to get in front of those people? And guess what? You don't need to do everything. That is the beautiful thing. You
A
just need
big
to do
sigh of
the
relief.
right. You just need to do the right things, and you need to do them consistently.
I, I love how you're a person of simple, clarifying words and images. So this is really helping the viewers and the listeners understand what you do. And I'll emphasize, really do find your best clients. To me, I'm in the human resources consulting business, helping businesses create healthier work cultures, and I do leadership and management training. And for me, my joy, my passion is people and helping them. And what I want to do is I want to work with clients. My best clients are people who see that they want to create a business or organization that's people centric, that where people is considered a part of the equation for profitability, not considered a commodity. And when I find those, there's joy, there's anticipation as I work with them. I hear their ideas that are validating their desire to help companies be that best version of themselves from a people-centric perspective. So they need clarity. They need to understand strategically where they go. That goal can be 12 months. It can be a 5-year plan. But what I love is how you shared with us that they need that. And then that the step-by-step stuff, they don't need to do it all by themselves. That's where your services come in. What So let's say I'm a business and I decide, for whatever reason, I have a goal now that I need to find somebody to do marketing. And remember, we said it was a broad field. Uh, what would your suggestions, Laural, be in guiding business owners, entrepreneurs to make the decision of what do I need and who do I go to? So just generally help us figure it out. Because I know myself, I've done certain things and I'm going, well, that wasn't what I had desired. I engaged a service and it had all of those funnels, but in the end, I didn't see a return on investment from a sales perspective. What I did see was an increase in my number of contacts in LinkedIn, which then raises my profile. So it wasn't an initial goal, but I understood this was the outcome that I got from it. So how do you help us who are biting our nails thinking, I only have so many dollars to spend, how am I going to spend it wisely?
Oh, that's such a great question, Hilda, and that is why we start with the strategy, because most people are thinking tactics, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
oh, what's my social media strategy, which is really social media as a tactic? What is my brand, look and feel? What is my brand voice? Like, there's all of these aspects, and there are, or they go to a web developer and they expect the web developer to be able to write their messaging, to understand what images to use to illustrate. And no, they're really good at making a humdinger website. That gets you whatever it is your goal is, which you may or may not have stated clearly, because you just think, I need a website. I Most people think that they need something. before they start. And what they do need is a strategy before they start. And the beautiful thing, and not to just sound my own horn here, but if you have the strategy, it's an investment, a long-term investment in your business. Like I said, one of our clients is working on this from the same strategy for 15 years. The You're not going to need to revisit your strategy unless you're introducing a new product, going into new market, starting to entertain a different client base, right? So people get a little, I just think they don't know that they need a strategy. So, or they know because they, to the point where everything is all confusing and it's all like someone said to me once, it's like a recipe where you put too many spices in and now you don't taste anything, right? So that's what happens, right? You get something just bland and doesn't appeal to anyone, and you don't even know what it is you're selling anymore. So I really believe you need to start with a strategy and look for someone who's a strategist. And then once you have your strategy, that strategy will help inform all of your tactics. So then if you bring in a social media expert or whatever, I also think you should work with someone who knows your industry. So if you're in a service business like I am and like you are, Hilda, then work with someone who understands B2B, so business to business or business to consumer services or products. Personally, we don't work with people who sell products in a box. And the reason that is because we're not, when we're working with a company like that is because they need to tighten up their executive team so that they can better be more efficient with sales, but we're not really there to help them understand their market. They know their market.
You're looking at it from the professional services
Absolutely.
side, in helping the executive, who are the professionals strategically directing the company versus the get the product, and make it jazz and sell better.
Absolutely.
I can't emphasize to people the importance of being strategic as a business owner. And whether it's in marketing, in an earlier episode, I talk about mission, vision, values, and how that needs to be the foundation that helps you build your marketing strategy, find the right clients, find the right staff. And so strategically, as a business owner, you need to think about these things regularly, if not annually, better quarterly, but at least annually, so that you know you're moving in the right direction. And those things that you implement, whether it's marketing or manager training, is based on that foundation of what is your mission and vision and values. Any tips and strategies when they're deciding on which one to choose? Which one should they choose? Like which company would they choose? So you already gave an example of make sure that the people that are doing this service are knowledgeable about your industry. Any other things that we should be thinking about our checklist as we're trying to say, should I go with this person or this company or that company? Or
and if I can just jump back for a second,
go
because
back.
vision, mission, values is a big topic. A lot of people come to me asking me, can I help them with their vision, mission, values? And I agree with you, Hilda. That needs to be refreshed and reviewed on a regular basis. And I won't say, whatever your marketing is does need to also be tracked and monitored, as you were mentioning. How was my LinkedIn initiative, was it successful, right? You need to be able to know if it has been. Mission, vision, values are about you. Okay, so that's about the company. So many people think that's their brand. It is not their brand. The brand is what other people think of you, right? It's how other people perceive you. It's how your clients perceive you. It's how your best clients perceive you. Your mission, vision, values may drive you from the inside out. your brand is what represents you out in the marketplace. So a lot of people get confused about that. Oh, we think we need to do a mission, vision, values exercise. Um, Really, you need to ask your clients what they think of you. And that's for your branding, not what you think of you. Yes, that's what drives you, but what attracts people to you is completely the opposite. And I suspect Hilda and I could go on about this because we both
We're both passionate about
right, exactly. So I would say, so putting a bow on that, and now moving to the question about um, uh, how to choose someone to work with. I really think you need to have a conversation to see if you feel understood. If you feel heard, if you feel that the person that you're considering gets where you're going. And ideally, they've gone past where you are to where you want to go. So I think, we've all talked about, we're all the sum total of the 5 people we spend the most time with. I think you want almost a mentorship relationship with somebody who you're entrusting to help you get to the next level. One of the things that I love, because of the way we work with our clients, we work with the whole team. And so we tend to not be the firm of choice for a transactional type of professional service business. So, for example, in the financial services world, there are people that will, are basically transacting, doing stock transactions, let's say, whereas there are others who are advisors who are doing your estate planning with you. And those relationship based services are a better fit for the way we work. And those people tend to have a team around them, and that team has to embrace your brand, has to embrace the strategy. And often, these are people that are transactional on your team. Maybe maybe it's not buying and selling transactions, but they're executing various let's say, they're taking care of certain kinds of paperwork or whatever. You want everyone on your team to show up with that same brand culture, that same attitude, that same personality that you're putting out as part of your branding and your marketing strategy. There's sort of a funny story, a marketing story that says, you don't want to sell a Cadillac and then show up with a Volkswagen, right? Because there's going to be disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to, when we're working with our clients, we make sure that the brand that they're projecting and the marketing strategy they're projecting, they can actually show up, execute that, and it's easy for them. My favorite button, the easy button.
So let's talk a little bit about brand. Your brand colors are red. And I knew that I was having you as my guest, so I had to wear my brand colors, which is this blue. And I sometimes show up and feel like, okay, I'm going to a network event. I wear my brand colors to show up. And it's a subtle thing, but when you hand your card out and it's the same color as your jacket or whatever, it is brand. So I want to talk about this biz backdrop that is behind you there in red. Tell us more about biz backdrop.
Thank you for asking about my biz backdrop. So a lot of people think that this is a digital background, and it is not. And otherwise, my hands would disappear, or my hair, or whatever. It is an actual physical backdrop that's been branded for Impagination, and we created this for ourselves during the pandemic because all of a sudden all of our presentations and all of our meetings were virtual. And I didn't want to, and I was in different locations. So sometimes I was in Toronto, sometimes I was outside the city, sometimes I was at one of our parents. So I wanted something that I could travel with, and no matter where I was, I would be able to show up consistently, because branding, there is an element of consistency with branding. And it helps to be more memorable. Now, we're just two people on this particular call, but when you're on a call with maybe 25 people, you also don't want to just sort of disappear into that sea of little Hollywood squares, as some people call it. You want something that stands out. So personally, we created it for our team, and other people noticed it and were intrigued. And honestly, it was filling a need at the time. So we have created biz backdrops now for many people, podcasters, like video podcasting, like you're doing, Hilda, for lawyers who are doing presentations to clients and also going to court. They're trainers, coaches, consultants. So we've done a whole some publicly traded companies that were doing their AGMs and their quarterly meetings, and they wanted to show up consistently as well. The beautiful thing is it is a physical backdrop. It can be used in a live situation. So I'm very practical that way. I wanted something that wouldn't only be, presumably we would be off video at some point. But I think video is here to stay. And at the same time, it collapses down into a carrying case. And I've had people who, traveled also to stay with parents and to help others, that they were able to just bring their laptop and their biz backdrop, and they were good to go. So yeah, it's been really fun to help people and to bring their brand into a proper background for video.
Love it. Just love it. Thank you for sharing that. Now, in the introduction, we also talked about you are Kolbe Certified Consultant. Tell us a little bit more about Kolbe.
So I was introduced to the Kolbe assessment in 1998, and it changed my business because I learned why I was struggling in certain areas and why other areas came easily to me. And it just really blew open the possibilities for me to bring a team around me to support what my strengths are, and to build what I would say really trusting relationships with people who became part of my team. When I realized what a difference it made in my, for my business, I also started introducing it to people personally, and as well as my team. And I decided that this would be a key component for my strategic marketing, because one of the things that when you are investing to grow your business, you are going to need to grow your team, or you're going to need to make sure the team you have is truly in the right place, in the right lane, doing the right things. So if you go with the standard model of, here's your job description, and you will, as an HR consultant, can relate to this. There's your job description, and this is the title you get with it, da 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 da, and these are the tasks you do. People feel locked in. When you look at somebody's intrinsic strengths, where they have the most energy, what I sometimes call they have the most gas in the tank, and let's say they're like a spreadsheet queen, and they could do spreadsheets all day long. It would take them 5 minutes when it would for sure take me 5 hours. And you could really collapse time, right? You could really accelerate the amount of time you have. And one of the biggest things that my clients tell me is they don't have enough time, or when are they going to do marketing? Because they don't have any time because they're doing everything all the time. So by leveraging everybody around you to do the things that they actually enjoy doing, for one, and gives them more satisfaction, you free up time to do the things that you need to do as the CEO or as the team leader to move the dial forward on your business. It also is really clear based on your Kolbe assessment, which is a cognitive assessment. It's not cognitive. It's not your IQ. It's not your experience and educational. That's always a component that of anyone, the mind that we have. There are three parts of the mind. One is the IQ. One is the cognitive. The other is affective, or feelings, personality, values. Cognitive has been sort of lost in the sands of time because it's really was identified by the Greek philosophers Aristotle and Plato, that people are wired to do things in a certain way. And those listeners who have children know that your children are not wired to do things the way you do them, or it's not genetic, right? You may help them,
Or their siblings. All of them are different, right?
Absolutely. So, and this is one of the easiest ways to sort of see Kolbe in front of you, because as much as we might like for our children to have certain attributes that we bring to the table, once we all realize that there's a diversity in the way that each of us brings action to the table, we can actually get more done in less time and be very aware of how to leverage the strengths of the people around us.
When you and I had some discussions earlier in the year, we were talking about Kolbe, and I do Fascination Advantage. And so you invited me to take the Kolbe test and share this. And when I saw it, I thought, oh my God, this is really good. This really helps me kind of understand how I do things at my highest value, which means, like, as you said, somebody could spend 5 hours doing something and do half as good a job as the person that can do it in like, 2 hours. And so finding what you are really good at, what you excel at, this became to me a real eye-opener and a compliment to Fascination Advantage. And I'm a Fascination certified advisor. And what it does, Fascination is a science-based tool, and it helps me in my training with people to understand their uniqueness. That's part of the Rev Up concept. If you're wondering why I call it Rev Up Your Business, Rev Up is an acronym for 5 values, and the U stands for uniqueness, similar to how Kolbe identifies your unique energy and how to use it. Fascination identifies how the world sees you. Unlike Myers-Briggs and DISC and Strength Finders and others psychological metric tools, this one looks at how people perceive you, how you communicate. And when you communicate at your best languages, you come across as confident and authentic. And when you do that, you create the know, like, and trust factor, which is helpful when you're building teams and helpful when you're creating new clients and client relationships. So the light bulb went on, thinking, wow, with Laural and her knowledge of Kolbe and my knowledge of Fascination, we could create something that is, I think, transformative for people who really want to find out and bring their best person forward. Laural, you comment on this combination of Fascination and Kolbe.
So I love this idea of combining the two. I often say that Fascinate is how people see you from the outside in, And Kolbe is how you are wired from the inside out. So it's this beautiful reflection that none of us can actually see for ourselves. So, we all, once we've seen the results of the assessment, we get, oh, so, these aha. My clients tell me this all. Oh, so that's why this happened, and that's why this failed, and that's is what this is where this broke down, and they are just amazed that it matches up with what they know, but that they could not actually articulate. And having done the Fascinate Advantage as well, I can totally relate to the two being brought together and to give you an even more of a three-dimensional view. With the Kolbe, I would say the 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 thing that has always really attracted me to it is the fact that it is, once you've done it, it's true for your whole life. So it is literally innate. It's how you were wired from birth. It's always positive. It's unbiased. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, if you're 8 years old or 80 years old. It doesn't matter what education level you have. It is completely unbiased and will give you a accurate assessment in any moment. I think that being able to walk away with that, well, as I did in 1998, and say, whoa, I have this incredible opportunity to change some things so that I get to be myself all the time. And I just can't imagine not being able to do that, because it's hard, right? It's hard to be faking it. It's hard to be, kind of like, oh, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to show up now? No, you get to own how you show up and let that shine.
And I love the fact that the values and the outcomes of Kolbe are similar to Fascination. You talk about finding who you are, but then it pervades into teams, your relationship with others. They're both science-based and they're both objective. So it's not your mother saying that you're such a good relationship builder. It's an objective one. And I remember one person said, I thought I knew how I came across. And seeing this report, which is like takes 5 minutes to do, it's science-based, and seeing this report validated who I am. And in fact, I'm more confident now in showing up in who I am. I'm not thinking, well, I think I come across this way. So, like there's that hesitance, and now she owns it. And when I hear those things for Fascination, it makes me, feel really good. And when you and I talk together, we say, wait a minute, this is like a 1-2 punch. This will be something people want to come to, a program that's going to help them be that better version of themselves and more confident. So we're both excited, and we're planning to do a webinar in September, October, free, to get a little bit more of what we're trying to talk about. And our program's we're planning it for November.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, Hilda. I think it is going to just knock the socks off people, because it will really give them some incredible insight. And what I like to say to my clients is, this reveals what you should be leaning into and what you should be leaning out of. It also will show you how you should restore your energy. So if you're starting to feel burnt out, it probably means you've been doing something you aren't the most ideally set to do. We can all do anything. Look at us. We can all do anything.
Yes,
but there's a cost to that. And I want people to know how to recharge their energy as well.
yes.
So, yeah, I'm very excited and can't wait to have people come and to find out all about it.
So there's two things going on here. Is that you are my guest, and we're collaborating together. How do people get a hold of you, and how do people learn more about this program that we're going to do? We're going to do it virtually over several weeks, and you'll get your assessment tools. But let's focus on you first, Laural. How do people get a hold of you?
Oh, there's so many ways to get a hold of me. You can visit our website, impaginationinc.com, or you can reach out to info@impaginationinc.com by email. And I would love if people would like to join our community. There's a quick pop-up, or you can go to and you can sign up to, get our monthly newsletter, and our community gets to hear about all the any special offers, and if I'm talking anywhere, or if there are any freebies that I've acquired that I can share. So I really encourage people to connect with me either by email or on our website, and join our community through our newsletter.
Great. And if they want to know more about the training program that we're going to, well, it's not training, it's a discovery of self program. How do you suggest they get a hold of you? For me, it will be go to our info@peoplebrightconsulting.com and just say you want to know more about it for sure. You can always link in with me too, and I can share with that Hilda Gann at LinkedIn. So, Laural, for you,
I
how will they know more?
Oh, absolutely. People can connect with me on LinkedIn, and where we will be promoting our upcoming event as well, and also on Instagram under Impagination Marketing. So I love to connect with anyone on social media. We have a pretty robust social media program with lots of tips and advice that we share freely.
Anything else you want to share with our listeners or our viewers today?
Hilda, I just want to say thank you. This is such a wonderful opportunity. I love I love being a guest on podcasts. And so thank you for the invitation. And I really want to just say that, we should all be looking for opportunities to collaborate. This is how we can scale. This is how we can expand and stretch our influence. And so I'm very grateful to you, Hilda, for being a collaborator with me and for this wonderful opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. And it's whether you're finding your best client or your best collaboration, like it's such a joy when we meet every Friday, because we've been doing that since I think May. It I look forward to it. I feel energized. Our we know our Kolbes and we know our Fascinations, and we are just gelling, and we're driving on the highway as we develop this. It's so exciting. So I thank you for the way you bring things into a simple, easy, identifiable way. And you've given so many tips and strategies to my listeners and viewers about marketing. So thank you, Laural, again for joining me. I'd also like to thank the listeners and the viewers for joining me. If you like us, subscribe and put a like on this button, put 2 likes on this one, and continue to hear more about how you can rev up your business. Thanks again, Laural.
Thank you, Hilda. My pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in to Rev Up Your Business with Hilda Gann. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our podcast on YouTube and Spotify to stay up to date with all of our latest episodes. For more HR tips, strategies, and to learn how you can create a people-centric workplace, visit our website at peoplebrightconsulting.com.